Welcome to Thoughts for Thursday. If you believe in a fearless, free, and fulfilled life, this is the place to be. I am Katie Bach, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about spiritual bypassing and how to avoid it. Spiritual bypassing is something that's really been coming up a lot lately in this year of 2020, where there's a ton of stuff going on and we are often avoiding our feelings that we don't really want to feel. And that's what spiritual bypassing is. It's dismissing or repressing or avoiding those emotions that we label as negative. Right? We are avoiding anger and sadness and unhappiness, lack of joy, all of these things that come up to us naturally as humans. And before I continue, I just want to take a moment and say that, if you think you're guilty of spiritual bypassing, you're not a bad person. Let's take away those labels right now. We all have done spiritual bypassing. If it's to ourselves, if it's to someone else, we've probably done it with the best of intentions and not realized what we were doing, not realizing the impact that it has. So starting out right now, we are not bad people. You are not a bad person. And if you think you have participated in spiritual bypassing, take a breath and forgive yourself. It's okay. It's all about awareness. So, spiritual bypassing is using spiritual practices, using the feel-good phrases, words, or practices to avoid what is actually going on inside. So it's avoiding it, it's repressing it, pushing it down, or dismissing it as if it doesn't even exist. And when we do this, what we are doing is really we're shaming ourselves for how we feel. So that creates a whole nother bubble of emotion and things to work through and walk through. But we're also creating a bomb to explode later. When we avoid what we feel, we're really not making it go away. We're just pushing it down for it to come up later and perhaps not in the best time, or it'll be more difficult to deal with at a later date. So spiritual bypassing can really have some profound effects on you, on your life. And so that's why I really wanted to talk about it today. Now, what we want to keep in mind is that sometimes feeling joy lifts you up, feeling good lifts you up so that you can face and deal with the other emotions that you're feeling. So it's okay to allow yourself to feel good too. That's not what spiritual bypassing is. It is the avoidance, the pushing away, or the dismissing your actual feelings. So as long as you are being honest with yourself, and you are aware of what you're really feeling, you can take a moment to feel good too. It's not about not feeling good and just sitting in darkness. It's about embracing both of them. So, what you want to be aware of when it comes to spiritual bypassing is that your intention versus the actual impact. So your intentions might be great. You may have wonderful intentions. You are intending on lifting yourself up, on feeling better. You're intending on helping someone else. But your words may actually be shaming yourself or shaming someone else. And so that's where awareness comes in. Awareness of what you're saying. Even myself. I have another episode where I talk about feeling good in any moment. And the purpose of that episode, my intention of that episode, was to encourage you to feel good, to lift yourself up so that you have that hope and that ability to face whatever is in front of you, not to avoid it. However, it could have impacted you in a different way. So we just want to be aware of what we're saying and be clear. It's okay to feel good. It's also okay to feel other emotions. Life is a roller coaster. It's not one way, feeling good all day, every day. I mean, that would be great, right? But other emotions like sadness and discomfort and anger, they are showing us. They are giving us a sign of things that need to change. It's our body and our mind, our soul's way of showing us it's time to make a shift. It's time to reevaluate. It's time to figure out why you're feeling this way. And if you bypass those feelings by just pushing to feel good, then you don't get to discover what you really need. And so facing those emotions, facing what you feel, allowing yourself to feel it, really opens up some amazing doors for you. So feel what you feel. Also really want to consider that we label so many things. And when we label it, then it becomes good or bad. And it either helps us to feel good, or it brings shame and guilt and fear and these other emotions, right? So stop labeling things. Why does it have to be good or bad? Why can't it just be what you feel in the moment? Sadness isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes you just need a good cry. I mean, sometimes I just put on some sad music because I just want to cry. No idea why, but I gotta cry. So why not just let yourself cry? We are human after all. So spiritual bypassing is avoiding, repressing, bypassing your emotions, what you're feeling, and bottling them up, pretending like they don't exist. And ultimately, when we do that, we are only preventing ourselves from really living. Some signs, if you are spiritual bypassing, could be that you're not really in the present moment, in the present reality. You could have increased levels of anger because you've got all these bottled up emotions inside, and this builds anger inside of you. You're pretending like everything's okay when it's really not okay. And you could be overly compassionate, overly understanding, overly helpful because you're avoiding what's going on inside of you. So how can we avoid spiritual bypassing? How can we not bypass what we're feeling? How can we allow ourselves to feel? What really begins with creating space for yourself to feel. Creating space and allowing. Reminding yourself it's okay to feel whatever you feel. You don't have to feel good all the time. You can feel sadness, you can feel anger, you can feel fear. You can feel totally overwhelmed and say, you know what? I just need to stop and go watch a TV show or go read a book. It's okay. So avoiding spiritual bypassing begins with creating space for yourself and allowing yourself to feel. Reminding yourself it's okay to feel whatever you feel in this moment. And the next step is really awareness. Awareness of what you're feeling. Awareness of what's happening inside of you. Are you blocking these emotions? Are you pushing them down? Are you allowing yourself to feel? So creating space, telling yourself it's okay, and then really pulling that awareness into the present moment of what is happening within you so that you can use that space you've created and you can feel what you need to. And again, back to the labels. Stop labeling things as good or bad. Sometimes you just gotta cry. Sometimes you just gotta yell. And what's wrong with that? Let yourself yell. Scream into a pillow if you want. Go outside and yell. Cry if you need to. Crying, yelling, all of that is a release of energy. Energy that's built up inside of you from these emotions. And sometimes you have no idea why you feel this way. And guess what? That's okay. We don't have to figure out exactly why we are feeling the way we are. And you don't have to revisit old traumas to allow your feelings to come out. You can be sad just because you're sad. You can be angry just because you're angry. It's okay. And so creating that space, allowing yourself to feel, and awareness. Awareness to the present moment and what is going on within you. And breathe. Breathe. And breathe some more. Your breath is powerful. Maybe you begin with breathing, and that's how you create your space. Maybe you just breathe and allow. We have feelings. Good, bad, neither. Our feelings are neutral. They're only labeled when you label them with something. Breathe instead of labeling. Breathe and allow. Create a safe space for yourself to feel. It's okay. And that's what you got to tell yourself. It's okay to feel. One more thing I want to mention about spiritual bypassing. We avoid negative thoughts. We go to that toxic positivity. Positive thoughts that attracts abundance. Yeah, okay. We also have negative thoughts. And those negative thoughts are signs, and they have a purpose. Instead of pushing them to the side, come into the space where it's okay to have thoughts. It's okay. Because those thoughts are bringing things up for you that maybe you needed to hear. Or maybe they're helping you open up to what you don't want. Avoiding does nothing but build up something to explode later. It actually blocks your growth, your spiritual growth, your personal growth. Allow yourself to feel. So, I'm just going to recap real quick. Spiritual bypassing is avoiding, bypassing, ignoring, repressing what you're feeling, your emotions, using spiritual practices to just feel good all the time and not feel everything that's happening. And all it does is stop you from growing, is build emotions up to explode later. It is not helping you to not feel. So, avoiding spiritual bypassing, create space for yourself. Allow yourself to feel. Remind yourself it's okay, whatever you are feeling. There is nothing wrong with you. Remind yourself of that. Awareness to what is actually going on in the present moment, how you actually feel, and breathe. Breathe and breathe some more. So, this week, I am challenging you to become aware of where maybe you are spiritual bypassing yourself, or where maybe you are doing it with someone else. Not purposefully, but maybe it's happening. Become aware. Create that space and remind yourself it's okay to feel. Then breathe. Breathe and breathe some more. That is all for today. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.